Today I'm going to talk a little bit about media management with Premiere Pro. I'd like to share with you my workflow for starting new projects in Premiere. It's a good idea to have all of your media in the same place before you start a Premiere Pro project. And now that there are a variety of ways of recording media and in a variety of different locations, whether it be SD cards onto a hard drive, thumb drive, it's important to keep them all in one place before you start your project so that you know where your media is in case it gets unlinked. What I typically do is I create a folder on my external hard drive. In this case, I'll call it Media Management with today's date. And I use today's date so that I know when I created the project. It's just an easy way of organizing. In the Media Management folder, I create 3 subfolders. One for video, one for audio, and one for images. Remember, this is on my external hard drive. And then in each of these folders is where I'll put each type of media. So I've recorded some video, some images, and some audio all on an SD card. So first I will drag in my images, and typically images are stored in a folder that might say DCIM. And you'll see that the camera has, by default, kind of named all these images with IMG with a string of numbers. So first I will drag these into the images folder. These are a bunch of audio files, so I will drag these into the audio folder. And finally, I need to put in some video. So if you're recording on AVC HD, then we'll go into private, AVC HD, BDMV, and then in stream, you'll notice we have a bunch of MTS files. So I'll go ahead and drag these into the video folder. I also have some other video files on my hard drive, so I'm going to drag some of these in as well. And I have some more audio files on my hard drive. I'm going to drag these into the audio folder. So the idea is to get all of your media into one place before you start working on your Premiere project. Okay, now that I've dragged in all of my media into my subfolders, my project folder, you'll notice that by default, the devices we use to capture name these files with a series of letters and numbers. So these are audio files, here's some image files, and here's some video files. What I like to do is I like to use my own naming conventions so that I know where to find a particular file if it gets unlinked. So here I might name this interview take 1. I might name this B-roll external. I might name this interview take 2. It's a good idea to kind of use your own naming conventions. So here I might call this stop motion 1. And there are programs out there that help you batch name files for you. So now I have all of my media appropriately named, and I can now start my Premiere project. Now that I know where all of my media is, when I click New Project, I'm going to create the project in the same folder as where I saved all my media. So I'll click Browse. I'll go to my external hard drive. I'll click on Media Management, and this is where I'll save my project. I like to name my project the same as the folder, project folder, with the date. And then in Scratch Disks, make sure your captured video, captured audio, video previews, and audio previews all say same as project. This will ensure that all of your render files are saved to your external hard drive. And click OK. Depending on the type of footage that you're using, you can choose a preset, but you can also change this later. And then we have the project here, and there are a couple of different ways you can import your media into your project. You can right-click, go to Import, and select your media. Or what I like to do is I like to just bring up the project folder that I have and drag in the folders that I've already organized, the audio, images, and video folders, straight into Premiere. And you'll see that Premiere creates bins with all of the media that has already been named. And you can just get started editing. If you're adding new media to your project, make sure you save it to your media management folder first before adding it to your Premiere project. If you don't save it first in the folder, then you can risk it getting unlinked in your project. So if you have new images, you save them first to the images folder, and then in Premiere, click Import and import them from that folder.